Hello again, everyone. So today, have another question in the comments, and this one came to me about a month ago from Peyton WH. About a month ago, Peyton, my apologies for getting back with you so late. I did respond to this one via the comments section, but I figured I'd go ahead and do a demonstration on this today. So this is in reaction to my Roland JX-08 808 bass drum design explanation. Peyton says, just bought one of these. This is awesome. Thanks for these tutorials. You're welcome. I'm new to sound synthesis. Could you do a tutorial on how to make clap or snare sounds as well? Also, how would I make a G-Funk DJ quick tight bass? Okay, hopefully I don't need a Moog because I don't have one. Yeah, Moogs are expensive as well. So yeah, I know the feeling. There aren't many sound design tutorials with this machine, so I'm trying my best to figure it out. Okay, no worries. So excellent. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how I build custom percussions with the JX-08. So half the time whenever I create a percussive sound with the JX-08, I'm not necessarily looking to make a clap or a snare or a bass drum or anything like that. It just sort of does that by nature, or it creates a percussive sound that we typically associate with a bass drum, a snare drum, or what have you. But either which way, enough talking. I'll show you exactly how this works. All right, let's take a look. All right, guys, so for starters, just as I would explain in any of my other tutorials, whenever you are sound designing or coming up with a design for a sequence or patches and what have you, I highly recommend that you start with a blank sequence. That will act as the foundation for all of your patches. So let's see, I'm going to cycle over to a blank sequence. Basically, I'm just holding start and using the value dial. You could also hold start and press the bank and pattern buttons. Okay, so let's see, there's something there. Actually, I do want to go over to bank B. Maybe, let's see. Okay, hold on, let's see here. Bank B, sorry about that, guys. All right, bank B, pattern 7. Okay, so there's something there. Hold start, let's cycle back. Okay, so that one's a blank one. All right, I'll press the sequence button, and yep, so we have a sequence running. There's nothing there. No worries. Perfect. Okay, now I can select my empty patches, or my initialized patches rather. So I'm going to go to C36, I believe it was. I think that's where I stopped. Okay, let's see, hold note. No, C37. Okay, that one's initialized. Okay, great, good. Okay, now, next up, I am going to jump over to part B. So, and I'm going to select an empty patch here as well. So over here on A, I had C37. On part B, I'm going to select C38. So why am I doing this? Okay, so first of all, what is a part? A part is essentially a layer for the JX-08. It's basically a layer for your sequences. So the way I like to explain this is that try to imagine if you had two JX-08 modules sitting adjacent to one another. You have module A and you have module B. That's pretty much how it works. The only difference really is both of these parts are tethered to the same sequence or the same pattern. So the pattern in and of itself has two layers. So let's go to part A and let's do a little bit of sound designing, all right? So the question was kick drums, let's see, bass drums, snares, claps, things of that sort. I'll stick with the percussions for right now. I'll do a bass tutorial on a different in a different video. But when it comes down to percussive sounds, what you really want to focus in on is your envelope generator. So why am I saying that? Because what this does is it, the word I like to use is it decapitates. It can take these these synth tones. In this case, I think we're dealing with like a sawtooth wave. Yeah, like a sawtooth waveform. And what you can do is you can adjust you can adjust the attack in such a way that you have a very strong initial hit, and then you can use the decay, sustain, and release to decipher the duration of the tone. Okay, so let's I don't know, let's try like a kick drum, like a big bassy kick drum, similar to what I did in the original video. I might switch it up a bit, but let's see. All right, so we have DC-01, DC-02. I'll focus in on DC-01 for right now, so I'll lower the amplitude of DC-0 number 2. All right, so that gives us DC-01. Let's change the octave. Okay, all right. Cool. So what we'll do next is, actually we can drop the octave a little bit lower. And now we can start messing around with the envelope generator. So I want to make sure that my envelope generator is tethered to the correct parameters. All right, so let's look at both the DC-01 LFO and the VCF envelope. So I'm gonna take envelope number 1, and I'm gonna tether it to DC-0 number 1. Okay, now, all right, so what's happening right now is that the envelope generator is causing a pitch bend for DC-0 number 1. If I up the attack, you get a riser. If I shorten the attack, you just get a quick. Well, basically the pitch is changing instantaneously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a slight pitch bend there. Okay, all right. Now, okay, now, all right, so I'm okay with that. Cool. All right, now, let's play around with our VCF for a moment, our filter. All right, so I'm going to take LFO, I'm sorry, not LFO, but envelope number 2. I'm going to tether it to the VCF. Let's see. Okay. That's happening quickly. What I just did there is I changed the waveform to a square. That's giving me more of the texture that I'm looking for. All right, let's go back to envelope number 1. That pitch bend is a little too intense, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attenuate it by dialing the attenuator knob backwards. All right, now let's go back to VCF number 2. Oh. Okay, getting what I need there. All right, now, all right, so getting kind of the bass drum that I'm kind of looking for, there's just one more thing I want to do here. All right, so I'm going to take envelope generator number 2. I'm going to tether it to the VCA. Now this is going to be our amp envelope. It basically the envelope is basically going to dictate the behavior of the amplifier, how it opens, how it closes. So right now I have a quick attack, a quick decay, quick sustain, quick release. So essentially nothing's happening. You're just getting a clicking sound, which is kind of that percussive tone that I'm looking for. But if I up the decay, okay, all right, let's go back to envelope generator number 1. Let's kind of mess around with the DCO for a moment. That's better. All right, now let's go back to envelope generator number 2. Let's mess around with our VCA a little bit more. Now, depending on what type of bass drum you want, you can either have a like kind of a short, snappy kick drum with a short decay, or you can open the decay and it becomes more of a bass. So you have to kind of find that sweet spot. Now, another thing I like to do is, yes, add effects. So what we can do here is hold number 1 down underneath effects, and we can let's see, find our, let's see, we have distortions, we have overdrives, and all of that good stuff. So what I might do is use an overdrive. So we have distortion, saturation. Okay, let's go, I think that's a saturator. All right, so why am I doing that? Okay, so saturator off, saturator on. Basically what it does is it places emphasis or accentuates the harmonic structure of the bass drum, right? So in a nutshell, that is how we would design a kick drum. All right, now what do we do with this? Well, let's tether it to a sequence. Let's just do a simple 4 on the floor, as they say. Okay, all right, so let's go into our sequencer mode. I will hold step number 1. Oh, hold on, I'm sorry. Go out of note mode. There we are. Hold on, stop it for a moment. Let's see, I'm in sequencer mode. I'll hold step number 1. Press note, and now, cool. All right, got it. I can cycle over to step number 5. Let's see, next would be step number 9, and then step 13. Let's play that. One thing I like about doing this is that it allows for me to design the sound as it's playing through. I can just kind of audition it. So let's see here. What do we have? DCO number 2, set it to the amplifier. Okay. Okay. Now what I just did there was I just upped the sustain and the release. And so what's done, so in effect what it's doing is it's creating an 808 kick drum. That type of kick drum that you might hear in like hip hop tunes. Alright, now let's cycle over to part B for a moment. Actually, I'm going to exit sequencer mode. The sequence is going to run in the background. Let's jump over to part B. Oops, hold on. Accidentally almost, I almost selected a different sequence. Let's go into note mode first. And now let's audition our tone. Cool, all right. All right, now let's see if we can create a counter to this. Maybe like a snare drum or a clap or something that sounds like that. All right, so again, the trick to percussive tones is to always go for your envelope generator. So let's find a bass waveform. Let's turn this down a bit. Okay, all right, now, actually, still on DCO 1. Cool, all right. All right, so again, now my part B. So part A, no matter what I do, part A is unaffected by what's happening on this layer. Everything is happening completely autonomous. So I can change my VC, I can change the parameters of my VCF, my VCA, what have you, without changing the bass drum in the background. All right. So let's see. So that would be 5 and 13. Boom, top, boom, top. Okay. Boom, top, boom, top. Okay, good. All right, so let's exit note mode, go into sequencer mode. I'm going to hold this step, go into note mode, and I'm just going to pick a random note. Let's go at G. Cool. All right, now step number 13. Good. All right. So, so we have a rhythm going. Now we just need to make this. Now all we have to do is just shape our sound. All right. Exit sequencer mode. Patch C38. Alright, now let's do some envelope work, shall we? Okay, let's change the waveform first. Cool. I'm going to use a noise waveform this time around. It's already kind of starting to sound cool. It has like a 9 Inch Nails kind of thing going. Alright, let's see. I can actually layer my... Okay, we'll get to that here in a moment, but let's stick with DCO number 1 for now. Alright. Envelope generator number 1. Actually, let's go to envelope generator number 2. Let's mess around with the VCA for a moment. Good. So that's kind of a snare sound, right? All right, now let's mess around our VCF for a second. resonance is important when it comes down to how snappy you want this to sound. Cool. All right. Now, again, what I want to do, hold my effect button, effect number 1 button, cycle over to my overdrive. There we are. There we go. Turn on and turn on the saturation, so you can hear the difference. It's more of a kind of a hi-hat type of sound, but if you want to make it more of a snare or more of a, if you want to round it out, so to speak, just, and then that's where you kind of get that clap sound effect. Okay, now let's up the JX-01. So, in a nutshell, that's pretty much how it works. So, my methods, don't take them as gospel. it's all part of sound design, right? So you can customize essentially any percussive tone that you want. But just remember, the 3 parameters that you typically want to go for are your DCO or your VCO behavior, your VCF behavior, your VCA behavior, and use the envelope generator to influence that. I'm going to cycle back over to part A for just a quick second, because there's something that I did that I didn't quite explain why I did it. So earlier in this demonstration, I was messing around with the pitch. I was bending the pitch via the envelope generator. So why did I do that? So whenever a kick drum is, in the acoustic sense anyway, whenever a kick drum is struck, right, the skin of the kick drum tightens initially for a brief moment, just like a microsecond, right? And what it does is it causes a slight bend in the pitch. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to simulate that bend in pitch with the JX-08, which is the reason why you hear that initial rounded off wobbly sound, I guess you would say, the wom sound. So it makes for a more dynamic kick drum. Now, let's have some fun, shall we? Let's see. All right. It's interesting. Okay. Okay. And again, all I'm doing right now is I'm just vacillating between part A and part B. Here and there. Let's see here. Hold a step, press note. Here. little skip there. Again, I'm just kind of messing around. Change the tempo. Another thing that I can do, let's see here, for the part B, that's where my snare is. I get a little reverb there. Too much of a send there. Just a tiny amount of reverb there. There we are. And that's pretty much it. And there you have it. So again, like I said before, the three elements that you want to pay attention to are the DCO, not only the pitch, but also the waveform, the octave, waveform, pitch, etc., etc. The VCF, your filter, VCA. This is very, very important, your VCA, because that's what keeps the tone short and snappy if you want it that way. And of course, you want to use your envelope generator to influence the behavior of all of the aforementioned parameters. And then you can use effects as you see fit. And that's pretty much it. Alright guys, so that pretty much does it for the JX-08 custom percussions demonstration. If you guys have any questions about anything that I just got finished covering, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Alright, take care of yourselves.